I'm Dave Potter, and I'm here with Digital Journal at Inventures, and I'm joined by Tom Viinikka of Edmonton Unlimited and Terry Rock of Platform Calgary. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you.
So you guys obviously came dressed for the occasion. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about your respective organizations in Calgary and Edmonton. For those who aren't, I'd say they're very well known in your respective cities, but not necessarily to our readers who aren't in Alberta. So can I get you just give a quick overview of your organization? Terry, I'll get you to go first.
Sure. Platform Calgary, we call ourselves Calgary's Home for Innovators. We have a 55,000 square foot hub just in East Village, emerging part of downtown Calgary. Our focus is on accelerating the whole ecosystem through founder-specific programs and then programs and partnerships that help with talent development, help with attracting investors through the National Bank Investor Hub, and work with industry through things like looking at verticals, showcasing the PropTech Showcase, all kinds of things like that. In a given year, we'll work with over 1,000 companies, and right now we're member-based. We have over 700 tech companies as members of Platform Calgary.
And Edmonton Unlimited.
Edmonton Unlimited, we're a tech and innovation hub in downtown Edmonton, and we're working towards a critical mass of entrepreneurs working in the tech and innovation space, working towards global impact with their companies. And we do that in a couple of different ways. We're focused on increasing the number of entrepreneurs in Edmonton, in particular in our space, and then increasing the number of attempts that they make. We want them to try and try again. And then we want to help them with get the resources they need to do that, as well as the capabilities. And so we use a couple of different tools, convening, bringing together great entrepreneurs in that space. We're really focused on trying to be entrepreneur-led in everything that we do, whether that's folks that work directly with us or that are in the community that we help to bring closer together so that they can support each other and help each other become entrepreneurs, and then go through the life of being an entrepreneur. And then we also have programming that will help those entrepreneurs as they move through the kind of critical steps of their business.
So you guys have been joking on LinkedIn about the Battle of Alberta. You've obviously come dressed for it as well. How do you guys balance, or how do you see the nature of competition versus cooperation between the two cities and the ecosystems you're building?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do think competition is healthy. I think that there's a competitive spirit in what we're doing, but it's also you can be collaborative at the same time and lift each other at the same time and do things to raise the tide for all boats. And that, I think, is really at the heart of what we want to accomplish is wanting to get out and move the needle and being competitive in that way, but then also wanting to do it together and succeed together.
I think it's the reality of the work that we're at is there's not a lot that's zero sum. When you think about supporting entrepreneurs, they really thrive on connections to whatever resource or something that's going to help them get over the hurdle they're currently facing, whatever milestone that might be. So if they need access to capital, if they need access to a great mentor or expert, they need access to a pilot opportunity, if great talent is looking to come, it's just a simple fact that by combining resources, we can do more to help the people that we're trying to serve. And at the end of the day, that's more important than accolades or who's ahead. And then the other thing is that we absolutely have complementary strengths that we can draw on. So it just makes all the sense in the world to do that and to leave the competition on the ice. I think that's really the kind of symbol that we're trying to. Yeah, there is competition, but we can leave it there and we can focus over here. And
unfortunately, I think Tom's won that side so far.
Well,
I say this coming from Toronto, so yeah.
Exactly. Well, there's probably people from Toronto watching this, and we were joking about Connor McDavid trying to help Edmonton set the Leafs record for consecutive. That was not a joke. I was joking about that anyway. Yeah.
So do you guys meet regularly? Is it a recurring? How do you guys collaborate together? And is it you or is it your teams? What's that look like?
I mean, we 5 years ago now or so started collaborating between the two organizations. It was actually Cheryl Watson was the CEO of Innovate Edmonton, and I started something called the Alberta Innovation Corridor that really fell apart during the pandemic. It was just, we had to focus on keep our home fires burning. But the key outcome of that was the creation of Alberta Catalyzer, which is a joint venture between the two organizations that continues on today. So those teams are effectively integrated, like they actually are integrated together. And today we made public that we've signed a memorandum of collaboration to do more. And so we're just in the early stages of doing that, but we do talk all the time, but we're trying to get some more structure around it and hit some marks.
Where do you think that formalization is going to take you in a year or two from now?
Well, I think, I'm looking forward to that kind of the infrastructure that really does help facilitate what we do want to do. I mean, these are the traps or the challenges of collaboration are always that we were talking about before, that we each have the things that we need to get done in a year or in a month or in a day. And those are whether it's fires burning or priorities that in our own regions, but making sure that there's always time for these other pieces so that we can kind of lift the tide as well as just working on our own boats. And so I'm looking forward to a little bit more of that structure that really helps us. And there's been lots of great ideas thrown around of what we can do to accomplish that and really make sure that there is that constant connectivity. I know that when we do have conversations, there's a lot of value in just catching each other up on the little things that we don't necessarily, our information is not symmetrical, and so we can get a lot from talking. Yeah. And again, the more structure on that, I think, is one thing I'm really looking forward to over the next years.
So specific things that we've outlined in our agreement together is that we look at asset bases or competencies that each organization has, and how can we maybe bring those together to serve our communities better. So two examples would be, in Calgary, we have the National Bank Investor Hub. We've really done a lot of work over the past 2 years to assemble a suite of programming and approaches to help people who don't invest in innovation learn about what it takes, find some peers on the investor side, and then connect them with founders. Edmonton's on the same journey. They can learn from that, but also, investors are looking for deals, and so they're kind of ambivalent about where they come from. On the other hand, Edmonton has done a tremendous job building a program where they can access, their founders get to access expertise in ways that is faster and really highly valuable, mentorship and coaching. And so that's a resource that we think we've got some of that, but not what they have. So combining that again is from the perspective of the founder, they just don't care. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it comes down to for us is that they're served as best they can. And so those are like early wins that we could get after. There's bigger ones where, we could take a vertical and do some joint programming and that kind of thing, but that's further down the road.
I think mentorship is one of those really, especially in the early years of any ecosystem, mentorship is a big challenge because you need people who have done it, the big thing. Yeah. And you need enough of them that they're accessible. And that, I think, is one of the really quick big wins, is that by sharing that pool, you dramatically increase the accessibility to those entrepreneurs who are experiencing the specific thing that they're looking for. For me, mentorship as an entrepreneur was just a really huge important thing for me. And so getting that to our entrepreneurs, I think, that'll be one of the things I'm excited about.
Do you find that you still, trying to cooperate, memorandum of understanding, you're still sometimes competing for the same dollars, whether they're sponsor dollars or they're government dollars? How do you try and walk that balance between you?
Those would be the sort of, there are areas where competition is real. On government dollars, I don't think it's as much of an issue. I think that's more of an issue within the region, to be honest. It's where people are programming, and that's where the pools tend to be more limited, and where some of those issues can come up more than my experience. So I kind of put that one aside. Even sponsorship, I don't think either of us have sort of massive growth aspirations or anything like that. And I think that so even in those cases, I just don't see them kind of coming up as an issue. There's not a lot of things that where I could see actual competition being something. My past experience, sometimes it's like relocations where somebody's trying to relocate to a city or trying to win a big relocation, that we sometimes get drawn into, where I think that's where like true economic development, regional competition comes in. But we're less in that business, and we're way more about stimulating from the grassroots up of entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs and investors coming in. So those are it's going to be 90% opportunities to collaborate. And the rest of it is based on trust.
Yeah, funding, I would say, from the government perspective, is probably more an advantage working together at the provincial and federal level.
Yes, for sure.
Than it is a competitive piece. Locally, obviously, each of our cities invest in us, and that's not competitive.
Yeah.
And so, and like you say, sponsorship. If anything, I see, when I see the people that you work with, I see actually opportunity to work with other folks around in those industries, and it's more, it helps like maybe with the iterative process for us to find good sponsorships and partnerships. And so I think most of those things actually are real opportunities as opposed to like threats, to competitive threats.
I think that, in some ways, like there's just enough distance between the two cities too, that's probably the most difficult thing for us to overcome is that just geographic piece. But then that helps on this other stuff. It actually is like a good buffer for anything that might be.
So you're obviously the two big cities in Alberta. You mentioned sort of the geographical limitations. Do you foresee this kind of cooperation expanding to include others, whether they're within Alberta or Vancouver or somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really. The within Alberta thing is a real and present sort of priority for us to ensure that this isn't seen by other parts of Alberta as an exclusionary thing at all. It's really a prioritization of getting the resources of these sort of 95% of the tech investment and activity in the province lined up and really working, and then ensuring that those resources are available in a non-competitive way to the rest of the province. The province of Alberta invests heavily in our two organizations, and we see it as an obligation to make sure that what we develop is available for the rest. Our colleagues from our colleagues from Saskatoon and Winnipeg are at this conference, and the Saskatoon has done a great job through Uniting the Prairies, pulling things together. There's a lot of opportunity there as well.
Yeah, and I guess I'd say with that too, is sometimes with the collaborative, with the idea of being collaborative, it's really easy just to start like quickly, kind of like what you said there. Well, let's go Vancouver and Toronto, and let's do Canada. Now, what about North America?
Yeah.
And then trying to expand it when really like collaboration. For collaboration to work really well, there does need to be like a real reason to be doing it, and there's a real reason for us to do this. There's a real reason for us to work with those other prairie hubs as well, and we do. But it's in a slightly different context. We have different things that we would work together than the two of us. And so our proximity and the opportunity to really the opportunity for connectivity and a shared resource is different between us than Vancouver or Saskatoon or Winnipeg or Toronto, and therefore there's something unique to be done here, and that's the nature of this agreement. And so it's not about trying to start something and then have it turn into this big thing. This is, and we kind of talked about that too a little bit, about like not even naming the thing. So this is our attitude and the way we're going to do this, and the way we're going to do our business, and not a new thing that's going to blow up and take over the world.
I think, to me, there's a kind of simple lens to put on this. Is the effort we're putting in, does it make the environment that our entrepreneurs work in better or not? Measurably better, which means they have more access to capital, great talent, and customers. And if that's the answer to that is yes, and sort of advice and mentorship. If the answer to those things is yes, then we need to double down, and sort of 80% of that opportunity is just 3 hours north of here.
So one last question. What's the biggest challenge or biggest hurdle facing your respective organizations or cities in the next year or two?
On the collaboration or generally?
Just generally for each of you.
Do you know what yours is?
I mean, I think for us, our big challenge right now, we just launched a new strategy, and it's getting that thing up and moving and going. Like our ecosystem, our community, maybe has watched us not get this off the ground as fast as maybe they would like to see, and so we have this new strategy that the community's been excited about and bought into, and I think that there's there's excitement and momentum. And it really is about like making some stuff happen in the next year. And so the challenge is just, getting that done and showing some movement and some results that way. And I'm very optimistic about that. I'm excited about what's been happening. But we need to show that we're making it happen.
Yeah, I mean, similar. We just launched in Calgary with Calgary Economic Development and Platform, the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, a new innovation strategy for the city that talks about sort of nodes that are vertical oriented, and then sort of connective tissue that we play a role along with CED, and bringing we've shown a lot of momentum here, and I think it's like the next level of growth is kind of within our grasp, so we can see it. But it is going to take a double down on collaboration in the city. I see that as possible, but as it's gotten bigger fast. I think that there are some more challenges to making that happen and getting the resources on collaboration as opposed to like on your point play that you're going after. So I think that's is really getting out of our own way on the opportunities that have been methodically laid out, thanks in large part to Calgary Economic Development, the work that we've been doing. The province, the city, the federal government have all really laid the foundation and unlocked our entrepreneurial community to do great things. We can't rest and sort of pat ourselves in the back because, there's been a lot of growth, but there's so much more runway for us that I'd hate to miss that opportunity.
Sounds like there's lots of opportunity, and we'll do this again in a year and see where things stand.
Perfect.
Thanks so much for your time. That's been great. For more information on what's happening with innovation in Calgary and Edmonton, check out digitaljournal.com.